Peace and blessings. It's your boy Eli Rex, aka Vibes, and welcome to New York Revival. I am here and I got my guy El Jefe and my
What's up?
guy
What's
as
up?
well, Mr. Glass Half Full. And welcome to New York Revival, where we're here to revive New York sports. As usual, thank you guys for spending your Monday with us. Please get in that chat. We will shout you guys out today as well. So thank you for joining us. And we have a special guest in the building. Please, guys, give you a nice warm round of applause for Mr. Chris, the Entertainer, talking
Yes,
sports.
let's go.
Hey!
The
The
king.
AKA Godfather of YouTube. So, guys, I'm gonna go around the room. All right. And I'm gonna start with Chris. Thank you so much for your time, man. What's going on? Let's know what's going on. How's everything?
I appreciate the warm welcome. I appreciate you guys having me on. All three of you are great guys. Love following all three of you guys on Twitter. Glad that you're starting a YouTube channel and always open to talking New York Giants football. So,
Yeah, man.
you guys reached out to me on Twitter today. Definitely was excited to come on. So thank you guys for having me.
Thank you
Thanks
for your
being
time,
here, man.
And hell, Hefe, tell the people how you feeling, man. How's your weekend?
I'm feeling great. Weekends are always good. I never have a problem with the weekends. It's the work weeks that get in the way. But I mean, everybody's probably following the Entertainer already. But make sure you check his YouTube channel out. I mean, he's the king of YouTube. He's just the guy. So you gotta check him out. He does great live streams. He's a good Twitter follow as well. So make sure you support him. Spiro, how you feeling, big dog?
Hey, I'm feeling good, guys. A lot of good news to start us off for the weekend with the Dable news. And then I had my son's second birthday this weekend, so it was a little bit chaotic, but we got it all together, made it happen. And then we got to watch some awesome championship Sunday games, man. Again, it lived up to the hype. So I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. I'm with you guys. We got Entertainah here. We're going to have a good chat, man. We're going to have a good time.
And guys, what a show is going to be today. Of course, guys, we have some New York Giant news as usual. Brian Daboll, the 20th head coach of the New York Giants, press conference was today. He was introduced. He was hired. Guys, it's feeling good. So I'm going to go around the room to kind of get your reaction to the press conference. And I'm going to start with El Jefe on this one. But how do you feel? Brian Daboll, man, I feel like he's the second coming almost, man. Like, it's just had to get this done. So how you feel about the press conference, man? Give people some feedback.
I am cautiously optimistic because I felt this way 2 years ago. I was real hyped up. Jojo, I'm like, that's the discipline we need for this young team. Let's go. Kick their ass, Jojo. And it just doesn't work. It didn't work for us anyway. But Daboll was refreshing. I mean, I didn't know too much personality about him. I saw some interviews and stuff, but I feel like his personality really came out. He's laid back. He's a smart dude, but I just loved how he interacted with the media. Super polite, respectful. But he had some good one-liners. He had some good jokes. Like, you could tell the guy's got a personality. So I think he's going to be good. I love that we brought him in with the GM on the same page. I'm nothing but optimistic, although I know it's going to take a year or two realistically before we're really competing. So I'm tempering my expectations, but I love what I saw today. How about you, Chris?
Yeah, I think you hit a lot of it on the head. I said it in my live stream today. He kind of reminded me of a more like a more proper Dave Gettleman with his handling of the media.
Yes.
he definitely played with the media a little bit, but he wasn't it wasn't in a condescending way like Gettleman's done in the past. He definitely brought some jokes. Seems like a smart guy. I thought he handled the media well. It was also quick and to the point. Like, every time he answered, it'd be quick and to the point. It wasn't drawn out, and it just felt like it was off the cuff. Like, when Joe Judge did his initial press conference, it felt almost like it was rehearsed. Like,
No, it was.
we were all, let's be honest, we were all on the Judge train after it. But in retrospect, looking back at it, it was almost like he practiced it in the mirror for 8 hours straight. Right. And it felt like with Daboll, it was just he woke up out of bed, he drove there, and he's it's like one of my YouTube live streams where he just talked to people, and nothing was planned at all, right. and it felt authentic. So I was impressed with him. I mean, like you said, cautiously optimistic. I think that's how all fans should go into this. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We want to start to see some results, but at the same time, I think as a fan base, we have to realize this is a multi-year process. It's not going to happen in 1 year. You have to let them build this team accordingly. Everybody says how bad of a job Gettleman did, rightfully so. Well, if he did a bad job, it's going to take some time to get out of that hole. So that's the way I'm looking at going into this rebuild. But day one, exciting times, got a new head coach.
Yeah, baby.
I agree.
Speed, what you got?
Yeah, I mean, listen, number one thing jumped out, like everybody's been saying, he seemed genuine. It seemed right off the cuff, and everything that he was saying, he wasn't trying to sell us on anything. He was saying, listen, this is who I am. I got. He had funny quips here and there. He was making fun of the insider, Chris Besignano, his accent. He had me laughing a bunch of times, man. But just like funny jokes. He was telling Lombardo how he showed up late, and he, giving him some shit for that. It just things like that here and there that just had us laughing. And it didn't feel as serious as Joe Judge. That's the nice little change of pace there that we needed. We want a leader, and he seems like he's a leader. I mean, hell, he's got 6 kids. You got to be some kind of leader to have that many kids, man.
He's a leader in the bedroom, I'll tell you that much.
He's up 6 points.
Man. Yeah. So, hey, it was a great press conference, but like you guys said, we've been fooled before. I like the way Shermer sounded. I like the way Judge sounded. And I can't be doing this thing where I'm falling for every coach that speaks. So I'm gonna pump the brakes here. I love the way he started, but man, here's the thing. He checks off the media box. You have to be able to handle the New York media, and he seems like he has that personality. For me, that's good. He checks that off. Now we're on to the next thing. Let's see how you build your coaching staff.
No, listen,
what about
guys,
you, Eli? What are your thoughts?
I'm gonna have to agree with you guys, man. I mean, it's love at first sight, right? Everybody's kicking the game like the guy in high school to the girl, right? We kick the game, we get the cute girl, and that's it. We fall in love. So, yes, we're all sitting there. We're like, yes, Dayball, man. He sounds great. He seems professional. He walked into the building, did what he had to do, said what he had to say. But you got to be optimistic here, right? Because again, we fell in love with Joe Judge with his nice words and characteristics, and right there's and all that stuff. So I think everything with a grain of salt. Let me see what your coaching staff looks like. Let me see what you're going to do on the field, because that's where the results are going to come in. You can talk all the nice talk you want, but I've learned that you have to just be patient and trust the process here. And the one thing I am is going to trust the process. He's just another coach here, and I hope he's successful, and we wish him the best, but I will not jump on that train just yet. But definitely happy to. But we'll guard it up. We'll definitely guard it up. Guard it up. But I'm definitely excited to see what Dayball can do, because again, we all want him, and I'm glad we got the guy for sure. So I'm excited. But I'll tell you this, guys. A report also came out that Patrick Graham wants to stay with the New York Giants. He wants to be the defensive coordinator, and it looks like he might stay. But however, he had an interview with the Minnesota Vikings, where we could get some kind of round picks if he gets hired over there. So I'm gonna ask you guys, and I'm gonna start with you, Chris. How do you feel, man? Would you rather Patrick Graham stay, or would you rather get those compensatory picks? What would you do?
Adios.
I'll drive him there.
Listen, man, I like Patrick Graham. I think he's a good coach. I think he's a smart guy. And I would not be upset at all if he stays on as the DC, which Dable kind of hinted at. But at the end of the day, if you're telling me I could get two third round comp picks, well, I think it's one in this draft and one in the upcoming draft.
Yes.
And because when you look at the DC market out there, you've got Vic Fangio, you've got Don McMartindale. Like, there's guys out there that you could bring in here and could do a really good job for this New York Giants football team. Yeah, I know Graham's worked with Dable in the past, so there's some chemistry there. But you get 2 third-round picks. Patrick Graham, best of luck, man. You're a really good guy. You seem like a smart guy. You could probably be a really good head coach. But I'm taking the picks, and I'm bringing a new DC if he gets that head coaching job. I'll sign up for that in a second.
Yeah.
All right, Speed, what you got?
I agree. I mean, listen, for the Giants, it's a win-win right now. Like, worst comes to worst, you're getting, there is no worst case scenario. Patrick Graham leaves, you're getting 2 third-round picks, which are huge, man. Third-round picks are huge. That's where you make your money, man. Because and that's why our rosters have been so bad for the past couple of years. We have not hit on a third-round pick in forever. So get those picks, and that's a game changer. Adding those picks, even if you don't use them, you use them to trade up. That's so much value right there. So if Patrick Graham leaves, I'll miss him because I really like him as a coach. I think he's been dealt a bad hand, especially last year. We had all these guys that we added to defense, but they all got injured, and it fell apart for him. Get this guy a pass rusher. And if he's back, I'm happy. I actually think we need some continuity on that side of the ball, so that way you're not flipping everything all at once. So to me, it's a win-win. I love Patrick Graham, but if I'm picking, I'm gonna take those third-round picks, man, because they're massive. They're massive.
Yeah,
I'll drive his ass to the airport too. I love him, but I'll drive him there.
Hefe, what you got?
It's a win-win. You're absolutely right, because I love Patrick Graham, and I love how the players play for him. You could tell that the guys really like him, throwing out names like the Black Picasso and stuff like that. That's a little over generous. I thought what he did was a little conservative based on like the players that he had and everything like that. But like in a defensive coordinator, you kind of want somebody who's dreaming up schemes and different exotic blitzes and stuff like that to confuse the quarterback. There wasn't a whole lot of that this year. So like if you think of a guy like Spagnuolo, which we all know well, those third down passing situations, that he's bringing a lot of heat. Like there's no way that quarterback's going to be comfortable. There just wasn't any of that. So like on one hand, if Patrick Graham stays, it's good for two reasons. The players like him. It's some continuity. But on the other side, if there's a chance to upgrade, Spiro said something a couple of weeks ago, like we should be upgrading at all costs, no matter what. But to have some continuity on the defensive side means Daboll can spend a little more time on the offense, maybe, which needs all the help in the world, right? So I could see it being a good fit. They know each other from back in the day. So I think Patrick Graham was already on a short list. I don't think he's going to get a head coaching gig. So it looks likely he's back. But if he goes, if we can upgrade and get some picks out of it, that's a pretty good situation. Then it's basically a full restart. But if they like him, the defense was competitive. The defense hasn't really been our problem the last 2 years. They've been running to the ground. The offense does them no favors ever. So the defense could use a little bit more help on the offensive side of the ball. They'd be a little fresher. They'd look like a different defense, even with the same coach. So it's a win-win. I'm good either way.
Yep.
How you
feel? What do you got?
I say this, man. I'm with Chris.
Kick his ass out.
Get out of here. Because again, guys, we need picks. We need to build this team, and we're in cap hell at this present time. So it's not like we got to go through the draft. We got to go get these rookies in here to help this team out. And like I said, it's going to help us in the long run as far as that. But I think of it this way, because I'm going to throw another scenario at you guys. Because if the team goes astray and Daboll is losing games, those players are going to go where their comfort zone is, and that's Patrick Graham. They're going to rally around that. So that could cause some sort of divide when he's trying to bring the team back from all his losing streak. So I say start fresh, bring another guy in here, bring a whole new coaching staff in here. This way players don't have ties to that where, God forbid, something can happen, they start to lose games, and that divide can happen. So if you're going to clean house. Otherwise, this reminds me of Ben McAdoo when they just got rid of Tom Coughlin to cap everybody else. Right? So at this point, man, clean house. Get a new person in here. Give me the picks. Give me the picks. That's all I want at this point.
I got a question for Tana because I'm still excited about this press conference from today.
Yeah.
How long do you think it'll take? Because I put out a tweet that I'm so excited for the Giants just to have a new identity on offense, a whole new look. I know it's Daniel Jones still, but this is not Jason Garrett's offense anymore, right? It's going to be very different. How long do you think it'll be into this next season before we really start to see like, holy shit, okay, Daniel Jones is being unlocked a little bit. We're starting to see what Daboll has brought to the table. How many games do you think that may take?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen right away. I mean, I definitely think you're going to see dramatic differences day one because it's going to be night and day in terms of just the offensive philosophy. I think you'll see them use Kadarius Toney in a more creative way, a lot more creative way than Jason Garrett used it. I think you'll see a more aggressive offense than I think that was more Joe Judge influence, but that's just my opinion in terms of the conservative nature of the offense. But I think you'll see a more aggressive offense from the start. But in terms of like Daniel Jones, like if he's going to like really break out, I don't think it's going to be right out of the gate because this is now he's learning a brand new scheme again. Like I think it's going to take him a little bit of time to get integrated into the new scheme, maybe 4 or 5 weeks. And then at that point, I think it's going to be from that point forward, I'm going to really truly analyze Daniel Jones and see if this guy's going to be worthy of pushing forward with, for more than just next year.
Mm-hmm. Well, thanks for bringing your fans with you. Anytime say stand up.
Let's go. Guys, let me say this, and I'm going to ask you guys, the entire panel, but what will be a success for Daniel Jones next season as far as touchdown, yards, and interceptions? I just want to hear some numbers. And I'm going to start with you, Tana. What will be a successful year for Daniel Jones as far as yardage, touchdown, and interception as far as the number? What do you think?
Here's what I'm going to say before I get into the numbers. For me, and I try to be as fair as I can with Daniel Jones. I didn't love the Daniel Jones pick when the Giants made it. I've also not been a guy that's come out and said that Daniel Jones is complete trash and that the New York Giants should draft a quarterback and that they should throw him to the Wolves. I do understand, like Mara said, that the New York Giants treated Daniel Jones like absolute crap. They've mishandled his situation every step of the way, and I do think he has some potential. But for me, at the end of the year, to feel like the New York Giants should push forward long-term with Daniel Jones, he has to be like a top 8 quarterback. That's my honest evaluation. And is it possible? Maybe Dable comes in here and by adding 2 nice pieces in the draft on the offensive line and they unlock Daniel Jones. Maybe. But that's the only way I am going to come out and say we got to give this guy a contract extension, because at the end of the day in the NFL, when you give quarterbacks that are good but aren't great top tier money, it's hard to compete in this league. So that's the way I look at it. For him to be worthy of a second contract, he has to be approaching the levels of a guy like Joe Burrow. If he's not doing that, I'm not going to get on board with giving him a second long-term extension. Now, maybe I'll give him a franchise tag if we're not in a position to kind of draft a quarterback, but to give that long-term commitment, that's the way I got to feel about Daniel Jones at the end of the year. But in terms of just growth and progress, I think he needs to – here's what I'll say. First off, he's got to stay healthy. All 17 games. Got to stay healthy.
Yep.
And I'd say he'd need to be in that 20 over 17 game schedule, 27, 28 touchdowns. And I'll say like 16 total turnovers in that ballpark. 27, 28 touchdowns, 16 total turnovers.
Yeah.
That's
solid numbers.
I think that's kind of close to, well, his rookie turnovers were ridiculous, but as far as the touchdowns, it's kind of close to his rookie deal. And I think people will sign up for that. But Speed, what you got?
Yeah, I mean, have numbers close to your rookie season where he put up, for me, 25 plus touchdowns, but drop the turnover rate and do what he had. So many explosive plays that rookie season, man. That's what I want back. And that's what I loved. What I heard from Dable. He's like, we're going to cater to what DJ does, and they went back to his Duke days. He went back to the early days. They're going to cater this offense to him. And before everybody freaks out, because everybody is freaking out, that does not mean he's going to be the long-term quarterback. That means you have an offensive coordinator that will adjust and create new schemes every year, because that's what good coordinators do. I know it's weird for us Giant fans to hear about that.
Imagine.
But, we're going to cater to our quarterback and get the best out of him. Do what he does best. And I think that we're going to see, listen, it's have a big year or bust for Jones. I said top 10. You could say top 8. Regardless, we're looking for elite level play and win some games on your own, and stay healthy. That's the big key. That has nothing to do with Dable though, or anybody else. That's on him. We want to see better play out of Daniel Jones. Do the rookie year thing with the with some less turnovers, and I'm happy, man. I don't know if that means long-term contract. I'm just happy to see him be able to put
maybe give him a franchise tag.
Yeah, franchise tag. You could sign him to another short deal, because I don't think he's getting a big deal anywhere else, to be honest with you. But we'll see. You cross that bridge when you get there. Yep.
I think we need to raise our standards. Like, we've been so kind to Daniel Jones. Like, oh no, let's give him another year. This, nothing was perfect for him, and it's just like at some point the guy's got to show up and be the guy. And I think you look at the standards around the league, I think the 49ers have been the exception with non-elite quarterback play, but still having a lot of success with Jimmy Garoppolo. They're talking about replacing him, and in his 2 healthy seasons, he nearly got him to the Super Bowl twice. And they're like, not for us. We need something. Can you imagine? We're just trying to win the shittiest division in the league, and we're having trouble getting out of the basement of that. And you know what I mean? Like, we need to raise the bar and it's going to take a while to do everything in-house. I get that. But Daniel Jones, in terms of numbers, if rookie year was 24 and this is his 4th year, this guy should be a 30 touchdown guy with a dozen interceptions, something like that, dozen to 15 turnovers, you know what I mean, in total. The guy needs to progress, and somebody said it too, it's between the ears. It's in your 4th year now. You're a veteran. You're a grown man now. Like, let's not stare down receivers. Let's get your reads right. And it's going to be a new offense. So it's going to be another excuse. So now it's going to be, well, let's franchise tag him. Now let's give him a no-line. But enough of the excuses. At some point, he's the guy or he's not. And to be honest, I don't care if he's the guy or he's not. I root for the Giants. I've never been a Daniel Jones defender and put my life on the line for him. I want the Giants to win games. And if we're not winning games with him, then you should be in pursuit of a top 8 quarterback, because that's the only way you're going to be consistently in the playoffs.
Yeah. And can I say one thing though? I think right before you go, I think the motion offense that Dable's going to bring is going to help him assess the situation better, and will only help him as a quarterback, because the during the play reads are tough. But when you could read the offense with motion, which we've been begging Garrett to do for the longest time, that helps a quarterback assess what the defense is doing. And I think that's going to help Jones. But Eli, your take, you in or out on Jones? You think he's got it in him?
No, I'm done with Jones. I'm done with Jones. I was on the fence. I was 50-50. I am out. And we're giving him, again, excuses. We're giving him a crutch. We're giving him, okay, it's a new offense. The guy's a veteran now. He's been in the league for 4 years at this point. And if he just didn't grasp the idea as of yet, he just isn't the guy. And, again, unfortunately, we're kind of stuck with him. But at this point, it's kind of a good place that we're in. We can be that bridge quarterback to come on in while we build the offensive line, build the defense a little bit more. So when we do draft our quarterback, we won't have the same hiccups that we gave to Daniel Jones. But Daniel Jones still stares down receivers. His passing is still okay. It's not too great. Yes, he got a strong arm. Yes, he can run. But after seeing these elite quarterbacks this weekend, especially a Josh Allen, especially with a Joe Burrow, with an offensive line the way it is, this guy's in the Super Bowl. That's an elite quarterback. And we've seen Jimmy G. And I'm looking at Jimmy G, and as much as we say that he sucks or whatever the case is, Jimmy G still got his team to where they needed, and he played okay until that point at the last minutes of the freaking game. Jimmy, I don't even think Daniel Jones is Jimmy G. And I hate to say it. Say that again. I'm sorry, Taylor.
Not right now, he's not. I mean, Jimmy G. Jimmy G, and I understand Jimmy G's got a really good situation, but Jimmy G's got a 71% win percentage over his career. He's got the second best winning percentage on the road in NFL history. Right. Like, he's got to deserve some credit because when he's not in the lineup, they don't win.
Mm-hmm. So, absolutely. And when you look at and when you look at Daniel Jones and what we have, you go, this guy ain't it. I'm out on him. And again, like you said, Hefe, I'm a Giants fan. I want what's best for the Giants. And if Daniel Jones isn't the guy, then we need to move on ASAP. Don't give him the franchise. Don't give him his option. Let's just move on because again, if you giving me your rookie numbers, you're still not the guy to me. I'm expecting that 30.
For me, he has, like I said, he has to be at least close to Joe Burrow next year. Otherwise, I'm not even entertaining keeping this guy here long term. However, I do think it's the right decision to stick with him this year because of the poor quarterback draft class, because of the poor surrounding roster. You don't want to bring in that next quarterback and put him in a situation that you put Daniel Jones in. Not to mention, it almost gives Dable and Shane a free year. It's it can't go wrong for them. If Daniel Jones goes bonkers and he becomes Joe Burrow, they look like geniuses. If he fails, they say, well, he was never our guy to begin with. They get a free year to build the team without any pressure whatsoever. Start bringing in your offensive linemen. Then the next year they say, okay, John, Jones didn't progress enough. It's time for us to go out and get our quarterback. And then they basically start their time clock then. And that assures them at least 3 years here with the New York Giants. So I think it's in their best interest and the Giants' best interest to stick with Jones this year.
Yeah. And low-key,
I don't even think we have a choice. We go ahead, Speed.
No, low-key, I think that's a reason why Dable chose us over Tua because he has this attachment to Tua. And if Tua has a bad year, he might have to figure a way to keep him still. But with us, he's coming into a situation where he's got no ties to Daniel Jones. If Daniel Jones doesn't blow up this year, it's going to be, move on to the next quarterback. And I hope they draft a guy that will fit their system, maybe in the second round or third round this year, just to put some heat under Daniel Jones's ass and get a guy that fits your system better. And then listen, worst comes to worst, Daniel Jones sucks. You'll be in the top 10 again with another chance to hopefully get your big guy. And I don't care about drafting over a second or third round quarterback as opposed to, if you drafted somebody in the first this year, you got to let them develop for 4 years. And, so.
Does it not make all the sense in the world to bring Mitch Trubisky in as the QB too?
Needs to happen.
Bring him in, draft a guy, and have a loaded quarterback room. Because and redshirt your second or third round pick for a year,
Well, Mitch,
guys, we're still unsure with Daniel Jones's neck. We're not sure what's going on with that. We're not sure if he's going to be healthy enough to even. I mean, again, they say he's going to have contact in August, but that's still far away. Like, are you 100% still? We don't know.
I think they're okay with it because they're talking like it's a certainty that he's going to be their quarterback next year. I don't think they would be talking like this if there was any indecision. They'll be like, well, we got to wait to the medical guys. They're not mentioning anything about that. So that gives me at least a feeling that they're pretty confident on his neck. But it's everything every year. It's something. So it'll be something else next year. So bring Trubisky in. Yeah.
They were confident too last season when they said, "Oh, he's going to return in the middle of the season." And he didn't come back at all. You know what I mean? So that's another concern for me. It's just like, man, he was supposed to come back that season,
I
but
wouldn't
here
have
it
brought him
is
back
now. We
either.
got to wait till August. I wouldn't. That shows you that neck was a little bit more than what they were letting on, and I think that's why they got people can't.
The Carpenter knew.
Carpenter.
No, but
Shout
you
out to Carpenter.
You can't have
Shout out
Daniel
to all of us.
Jones playing like 9 games this year and then have the Mike Glennons of the world back him up. It's a wasted season. You learned nothing. It's a complete waste of a season. But Chris, phenomenal point. This is a free season for this GM and head coach. It's a win-win. You turn Daniel Jones into something. It's almost like if you have Mitch, then I don't know if you really need to spend that second or third rounder on a quarterback. You can maybe wait, but if you do, okay, you have 3 quarterbacks, and each one of them has a purpose, as opposed to Mike Glennon, who's a complete waste of space, and Jake Fromm, who is not going to be in the NFL. You know what I mean? Like the other way, you have a developmental rookie, and you have a solid backup, among the best backups in the league. Like, that's a guy who's got 50 starts under his belt.
Who knows the offense?
Mitch had some success. I think he was 12-4 as a starter one year. That's.
Yeah, not that I would ever want Mitch to be a long-term answer for this football team, but would I be shocked if Trubisky got put in the right situation that he could see a career resurgence similar to a guy like Ryan Tannehill? No, I wouldn't. I mean, the guy was a second overall pick. He has some potential, and he's definitely a very stable backup. Obviously, the ties to Dable, and he plays a similar style to Daniel Jones. So I just think it makes too much sense. I think the Giants should bring him in.
I totally agree. I mean, we get you fat. Anybody got anything else? I heard somebody was going to talk. I'm sorry. Before we get to the next one.
No.
Perfect.
No, Mitch is Mitch is mobile, and he's kind of a bigger dude too, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's a big dude. He could take some hits, man. He's a runner. He's got a Josh Allen like running game to him. Just not the
Well, there's a reason they brought him in. There's a reason they brought him in to back up Josh Allen.
Yes.
So bring him in to back up Daniel Jones.
And
he
one
might
more
make
thing
more
I'll
money
say.
than Daniel Jones.
One more thing I'll say is I think Ken Dorsey is huge in this situation. And if they can get him, that will help. Ken Dorsey was there for Cam's MVP season. He helped turn. He came there in 2019 to the Bills when Josh Allen started turning around. I don't know if that's coincidence, but he's been around 2 really good quarterbacks as a quarterback coach / passing game coordinator. So, I mean, look, he's gonna be a hot name if he can turn DJ around. He's gonna be a hot name.
It'd just be a great pickup because then you're talking about an O-line coach, an OC, a head coach, and a GM who are all in line.
Shout out Bobby Johnson.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Our new O-line coach. But we were talking about this. We're going to be plucking people from Buffalo. Like, it's going to happen. But what me and Spiro were saying in the pre-show is at least it's not Carolina anymore. Where Gettleman was trying to like
and Arizona before that.
Absolutely.
Trying to revive all the careers of washed up guys that he drafted. Like, no, cut ties. If they're good, bring them in. They added that running back like his first day, Shane, before we even had Dable announced. I think he may have brought that. But I watched the highlight reel that Bobby Skinner put out. The guy's got burst. Guy can play. He looks like he's. I mean, I don't want to say certainly more than Saquon had this year, but I mean, you need some competition in that room too, man.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
So,
Eli, I'm sorry.
I've interrupted
you 8 times.
No, don't worry. Perfect segue because again, it's Ken Dorsey that's on the list here. So we're expected, as certain reports that came out this weekend, is that Dayball is expected to bring in Ken Dorsey. But however, a lot of fans and etc. in the comments were saying, man, they have to apply to the Rooney Rule, and the Rooney Rule is terrible, is the worst thing in the world. So yes, we may get Ken Dorsey. However, we have to apply to the Rooney Rule. Is the Rooney Rule flawed at this point? And I know this is a touchy topic, but we want to cover it a little bit here for the fans. But I'm going to start with Tanner here because, again, man, your opinions count here as well. But what do you think about the Rooney Rule? Because why can't a head coach get their offensive coordinator without applying to the Rooney Rule first? It's kind of a waste of the person's time at that point. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I mean, the Rooney Rule to me, and listen, man, I think there is definitely an underrepresentation of minority head coaches in the NFL. That goes without saying. There's only like 3 minority head coaches, I think, in the league currently, maybe even less. Tomlin,
Tomlin,
Rivera,
Tomlin, Leftwich, and I think Leftwich just got one.
Yeah, so maybe 3 or 4. So I definitely understand that there's an underrepresentation, but to me, the Rooney Rule is kind of nonsense. I mean, I understand that they're trying to get more African American, more whatever type of minority head coaching jobs in the NFL and to try to get them promoted. But I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the rule that's instituted. How like if a team loses a head coach, you get 2 third-round picks. Like I'm not the biggest fan of it, to be completely honest with you. And it doesn't really seem like it's benefiting anybody.
Right.
And the other thing is, I don't think it's fair to the minority candidates because you know in the back, if, to be honest, what people are going to say if Patrick Graham gets the job, they're going to be like, oh, it's because he's a minority candidate. Whether that's fair or not, that's the truth of the matter. A lot of people are going to say that. I don't know. I understand that we need more representation in the NFL with minority head coaches, but in terms of the rule itself, I'm not the biggest fan.
Same.
It's not.
Hefe, what you got?
It's not really like bringing change. You know what I mean?
No.
It's the right idea was in mind where they should get more opportunities. Minorities should definitely be seen more and heard from more. But like Bieniemy's been sitting there for how many years in Kansas City, and you see like these quarterback coaches and offensive coordinators you've never heard their name getting gigs when like who are these guys, and like their resumes don't add up. So I don't think it's really working enough, but you can't force them to hire people either. So I think it's a gray area that's just going to need to progress over time, but clearly it's not working. Clearly it's a problem, but I don't know. They got to do better.
Yeah. I mean, the thought process, you understand the thought process, what they're trying to do, but the way it's playing out, it's just making a mockery of the whole thing. They're just like, oh, no, we can't sign this guy because we have to get this one quick other interview in, just to follow the rules. No, it's not. It shouldn't be like that. And how's that other coach going to come in and feel like he's wanted when he's like, so are you just interviewing me to check off the box?
In the back of their head,
right, yeah. So he's going to half-ass the interview because he thinks, hey, this is probably not a real interview. This is just because I'm an African American or whatever. I'm Latin. Whatever. But it's just it's just making a mockery of the whole situation. And I think either revamp it or scrap it all together, man, because this ain't it. This ain't it. And Eli, I mean, you tell me, what are your thoughts? I think it's a joke,
man. Listen, I think it has to be tweaked. Mm-hmm. I think it's kind of a waste of time to force someone to interview an African American person or a minority at that point. Just imagine going into an interview and me as an African American knowing that I'm just a quota. I'm going to half-ass that interview. I'm not going to go in there and give my best foot forward. So it has to be tweaked. But yet you're forcing some people to make a decision based on their skin color, and they might not be the right guy, and they fall on their face, and therefore that can create a stigma that maybe the African Americans can't coach. Not saying that, but you just don't never know what people could think and what stigma that can say if you do hire a guy because of their skin color. The Rooney Rule has to be tweaked. It has to be a little bit better as far as interviewing or forcing people to interview African-American candidates. Again, hire the best guy. I don't believe in forcing people to do it because if I'm going to be the guy, and again, there's me coming in, I'm a quarter. Yes, I'm going to give my best foot and put it forward and come up with the proper game plan. And if I'm hired, I'm hired. But, man, I know in the back of my mind, laying my head down, I can be like, man, I'm just another number. But I would say seize the moment. Take advantage of that opportunity. Do all that you can because you just never know when you go, you know what? That guy impressed me. And you know what? And that can set up things in the future in line for minority candidates. But I think the Rooney Rule is a waste of time. It has to be revamped. It has to be revisited. I get what they're trying to do, but I think it's more offensive than actually trying to get in line and get people going. And that's my opinion on it.
That's fair.
But guys, we're going to have another big news as well. Mr. Tom Brady, a.k.a. the GOAT, retired, then unretired, then retired. I don't know what's happening. But, guys, I can tell you this, man. I'm going to go around the room, and I want to get your favorite memory of Tom Brady because I saw the tweet, and I put something out. Well, I want to get your favorite memory. But first, how do you guys feel with Tom Brady leaving the game, man? I feel like a little piece of my childhood just left. But, Entertainah, what you got, man? Because you're the guest. I'm going to start with you all day.
Yeah, I'll be the first. I'm not the biggest Brady fan, to be honest with you. I obviously respect the hell out of Brady. He's the greatest. He's the GOAT. But I've never been like – he's never been my guy, personally.
Yeah.
But what I will say is after it came out that he's probably going to retire, I said to myself, wow, like I started watching football in like, I don't know, I was born in 85. I probably started watching it regularly in like 96, 97. And I was like, wow, like basically my entire time I've watched
he's
football.
Been there. Yeah, he's been there.
Tom Brady's been a part of it.
Fixture.
Yeah.
And you kind of like don't appreciate it in the moment, I guess. And it'll be something that you look back on in 20, 30, 40 years and you'll be like, wow, I got to see the greatest quarterback who ever lives career start to finish. So I got tremendous respect for Tom Brady. Listen, I've always had arguments throughout his entire career with people that I don't think he's the best quarterback in terms of just his natural ability. But obviously the championships speak volumes. His work ethic is off the charts. And the guy did it at 2 different destinations. And I think he shut all his critics up. He's got nothing more to play for. I mean, the guy's been to 10 Super Bowls. He's won 7. And it's time to move on. I want to see the next Tom Brady. But he had an incredible career.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I thought he was going to have another year or two, to be honest. I thought he was still going to go. Like, I thought he was going to run this back. He was clearly still playing at a high level, but I was never a Tom Brady guy either. I mean, as Giants fans, we had no real problem with Tom Brady. We kind of owned the guy, right? Like, go ahead, win your Super Bowls elsewhere, but not against us. So we always had a good relationship with Tom Brady. But I don't know. The guy was playing at a high level. I just think it looked like the torch was passed over the last couple of weeks with these young quarterbacks playing so well. And you see Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady not looking like the guys. I mean, Aaron Rodgers had a phenomenal season, but like it just seemed like that this weekend, seeing such elite play from the younger guys. Maybe Brady at some point is just like, I don't feel like getting hit anymore. And I mean, I'm with you, Chris. I don't think he was the most gifted quarterback of all time. He may have been the smartest. I mean, no, he was injured. Really, he missed 1 year, with an ACL or something early on in that season. And I think it's because of how smart he is and how well he reads defenses and gets rid of the ball quickly. And he's kind of a coach out there, and he happened to be teamed up with the best coach of all time. So it was situational. It was his football IQ. It was all of that. But his records will never be touched.
No.
and you know that by how good Patrick Mahomes is and how stacked that team is. 4 straight AFC championships, and they have 1 Super Bowl to show for it. That's Patrick Mahomes. He's already in his prime. He hit his prime pretty much right away. And the kid is going to be so good for the next 15 years. But he's not going to sniff.
He's not winning 7 Super Bowls.
He's not going to sniff 7 Super Bowls. He would have needed to win 2 or 3 out of the first 4 to have a chance. And he's not. Like, that's how hard it is. And unbelievable that he was that good for basically 20 years. And it's just he's never going to be touched. But I think he was planning to retire. It leaked, and then he was like, "Oh, I didn't want to tell
now I gotta do
it." Then I heard he wanted to tell people like during the Super Bowl, like, "You selfish prick! Like it's you're not in the game for once."
He wanted to pull like a LeBron James when he announced which team he was going to.
Yeah, right.
Just let other people enjoy the Super Bowl for once. But I mean, good riddance, great career by then.
Yeah. Hey, listen. I always was a Peyton Manning guy, so I always took his side in the battle of the two. But listen, Tom Brady was a Jeter. He went to the perfect situation, perfect team, and you combine great talent with a perfect team, and you have 7 championships, 6 championships. You have multiple championships, and that's how. If Tom Brady went to the Jets, he's not Tom Brady.
He's not Tom Brady.
No, not even close.
Not even close.
And it's not no knock on the Jets, but that's kind of a knock on the Jets. But I think listen, I think he's. I remember that first game where he came in for Drew Bledsoe, man, like it was yesterday. Drew Bledsoe getting knocked down
against the Jets, wasn't it?
This rough, this rough kid from Michigan who nobody really cared about in college even. Just came out of nowhere and just started making plays. And he just had that knack, that it thing that you can't really quantify on paper. It's been a pleasure watching the guy because he's a winner. I respect that. He's always willing his team to victory. But I think in the end, he told his wife, listen, the second I stop winning Super Bowls is when I'm going to actually hang him up. And, I think during that game, you almost saw him like, kind of accepting defeat. Like he's like, all right, might be the end. And then he had that last little burst at the end. He's like, you know what? I smell it again. I'm going to go for it. And he almost got it. Son of a bitch almost got it. But, once that was done, listen, AB's not going to be there next year. Godwin's not going to be there next year. That his offensive coordinator, not that it matters really, but Leftwich is going to be gone. Things are breaking down around him. That championship team's not going to be, it's going to be harder and harder to get back. I think he saw the writing on the wall. He's just like, you know what? Let me just live my awesome next life, which he's probably going to be an announcer, living with Giselle.
Whatever he wants.
You're going to be fine, bro.
The world is his.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know, Eli, what do you think, man? What are your thoughts on Brady?
Oh, listen, man, it's the GOAT. You know, I every time I look at Brady or listen to this, how you guys are talking, all I hear is the Eminem ending of the 8 Mile. You can do anything if you put your mind to it, man.
Yeah.
That's freaking Tom Brady. If that cliche had a definition and there was a writing on the wall, you'll see Tom Brady there. He's the ultimate guy, man. If you can do anything, you can achieve it. If you can think of it, you can achieve it. Tom Brady's the GOAT, man. One giant upset. I mean, that's the only flaws on there is Eli Manning, right? As far as that, but other than that, man, the guy's competitor. The guy shows, and Nick Foles. Let me add that in there. But the guy's competitor. The guy is. I mean, my favorite has always been, and for the lack of a better word, is Eli Manning. Don't get me wrong, but I loved Peyton Manning. I love everything that Peyton Manning did to me. I think he's my GOAT. But Tom Brady, man, proved the hardware is where it counts, and you got 7 of them on your hand. You are the greatest of all time. It's like Michael Jordan, right? So. More power to him. I wish him the best retirement in the world, and I think he paid his dues. But I'm tired of seeing the Brady Super Bowl, so I guess this is the definite. You know what I mean? At this point, I'm over it. So with that,
one more thing, Eli, how about how wide open the NFC is going to be now without Brady?
Huge.
Rodgers, who knows where Rodgers is going? If I'm Rodgers, I stay in the NFC because everybody,
all the great quarterbacks
now.
Yeah.
But it's what Dak and I guess Kyler Murray, but Kyler Murray fades off every year. I don't think he's I don't think he's
good. He's not great to me.
Right. Yeah. So man, that wide open NFC now, quarterback wise, it's gonna be interesting to see.
Stafford's name in there.
Yeah, right. Sorry, Stafford. Yeah. But still, again, no like guy where like that's him. We got to beat this guy now. Like there's no more of that.
But even with the Rams, it seems like that Rams team can only stay as they are for a very short period of time.
They're going all in this year.
Right. And I think they're probably going to win, but they put all their eggs into this year right now. Right? They kick the can down the street.
Yeah, they don't have a first pick till 2024, I think. Something like that.
So,
yeah. Good for them, man. Hey, listen, it's working.
If you
have a shot now.
As long as you win, it's worth
one.
Yeah,
that's it. As long as you win. With that being said, no, don't worry. With that being said, we have Odell Beckham Jr., a former Giant, and yes, we're going to talk about all over the Odell because that's still a touchy subject within the Giants community. So we're going to talk about this, and we're going to leave this here on the floor. But just looking at Odell, was it the right move by trading him at this point, guys? Because he's in that situation.
Let's dig this up one more time, right, Eli?
Let's do this up one more time. Just one last time on this show, and we're done. Because we're seeing so much success here. But with that being said, was it a good move by trading him? I mean, he's actually made it to the Super Bowl. Did this hinder Daniel Jones's growth in any way? But guys, how do you feel about Odell? And did we win the trade still at the end of this point? And I'm gonna start with Tana.
I don't think we won the trade, but I don't think we lost it. I think it was a trade that neither team benefited from. I understood at the time why the Giants made the trade, and based off of value, you could probably argue that we won it, but we didn't hit home with the value.
Yeah,
we didn't hit home with the picks.
Didn't cash out.
If you judge the trade based off of what the Giants received, just in terms of the draft capital and what the Browns got from Odell, I guess you could make the argument that the Giants won it, but they didn't cash in on the pick. So I think it was a like people that see Odell with the Rams and they're going to say, oh, the Giants would have been great. No, Giants weren't going to be great if they kept Odell. Let's be fair here.
Right.
They were not going to be a great football team. They still have the same holes they did, and they would still have him if Odell was still on the team. He would have eaten up a lot of cap. So it is what it is. It was unfortunate. I know he's a fan favorite. He's a great wide receiver, and now he's in a perfect situation. I mean, he is literally in a wide receiver's dream right now. He's playing in the Todd McVay offense. He's opposite Cooper Kupp. Like, you can't ask for a better situation than Beckham's in right now. And best of luck to him. I hold no ill will. I was never a huge Beckham guy, if I'm being honest with you, but and I was not upset at all when they traded him. But in the end, I don't think we made out on the deal, but I also don't think if he was here, it would have made much of a difference.
Fair.
Appreciate that. Speak.
Yeah, I mean, my Odell Beckham fandom or likeness, it's just a roller coaster. I loved him when we got him because he was so flashy. He's the most talented Giants wide receiver I've ever seen. He could get open at will. He made crazy catches. And then it was the off-field stuff. It was the in-between stuff that pissed me off, and he lost me with that stuff. He always made it about him. And when things weren't going right, that's the worst of Odell Beckham. And I hate those kind of players. Like, I want you to be there through thick and thin when things are going wrong. You keep the team together. Everybody would call him a leader, but he was leading the guys the wrong way, in my opinion. But everybody loved him because I think truly Odell's a really good guy. I don't have a problem with the human being Odell. I had the problem of what he wanted. He always wanted the flash on him, the limelight on him, and it just was never going to work here. Now we're 2 teams removed now. How long are we going to be having this conversation for, man? I that's what pisses me off about the Odell Beckham stands that are still out there. Like, look, man, if we just had this guy back, it wasn't the same player. What about the years in between where he still got hurt? Would you have been as happy with him on the team if he was still getting hurt all those years? I would love to have seen Daniel Jones with an alpha number 1 wide receiver like that. It would have been cool to see. But in the end, I think it was best for both teams that they split up. Nobody remembers Chris Carter was an Eagle to start his career, but he was so immature that they had to trade him, and he grew through that trade. I think Odell Beckham, hopefully he's grown into the person he wants to be. And, I wish him the best with the Rams. I hope he wins the ring. I don't care anymore. He's so far removed from being a Giant. I enjoyed the years he was here, but I'm done. I'm done now. I root for the Giant cloth, like Jeff said before. Eli said, I root for the Giants, not for the players anymore. You want to go be an Odell Beckham fan? Go ahead. Go be a Rams fan. But I loved him. Wish him the best. Rooting for the guy. But I think it was for the best that the Giants traded him. He had that interview. He brought it on himself. He brought that. They didn't want to trade him. I think he forced their hand. And again, if Gettleman would have nailed those picks, it would have been nice. It would have been nice.
And the other thing is the Odell Beckham stands, as you said, they act like Beckham didn't force this. Like they just ignore it. Like Beckham literally said he wanted to play for the Rams when he was with the New York City. He said that he wanted to play, the Palms. Like people just ignore that. Like he forced his way out here.
100%.
Like let's be real. And the Giants got what they got before they thought it was going to completely blow up, but it didn't work out. You know, it didn't work out for either team.
Yeah, agreed.
I agree. Hefe, you got anything to add? Because I got a little bit to add there.
Yeah, like I was good with the trade at the time because of his antics, and it wasn't working. The Giants were losing games, so I don't think either team got fleeced on the trade. I think we got a decent return. We just didn't do the most with it, and we weren't competitive with or without Odell. Like we had a flash in the pan 2016 season, but I'm happy for the guy. I do like seeing him succeed. The league's better when he's doing good things. I'm not one of these fans getting collie wobbles in my stomach watching him succeed, and I wish he was still here. Like, no, I'm happy for the guy. I've moved on. It's like you don't worry about 2 ex-girlfriends ago. Like you got to move on at some point. So I'm happy for the guy. I think he's going to get a ring, and he's electric, man. I loved when he was playing for the Giants. It was the other bullshit that I could do without, but I'm happy for him. I am pulling for the Rams. Can't be having Eli Apple win a ring. So
no.
BJ Hill's gonna put a little Sano in too.
No, I know he made a huge play. But I'm it's easy to root for Stafford. It's easy to root for Odell for me. I don't know for what right or wrong. I'm happy when Odell does well. So that's just where I'm at.
Fair.
No, I agree, man. I mean, listen, as far as who's winning the trade, it's a push. Nobody really won per se. I'm happy for Odell. I'm happy that he's getting the ring and everything that he finally wanted. But guys, like, you get over it. like that's it. Odell has been gone for quite some time now. I think maybe 4 to 6 years. I think he's been out of here. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But Odell's gone, man. He's in LA. Definitely root for the guy, man. I understand. But as far as him being here and thought we was going to be this elite team, it wouldn't that work, guys. It wasn't going to happen. So what if Odell was here? He just would have been a guy getting 1,000 yards a season, still losing. That's it. Yeah. Let's be honest. You know what I mean? So let's call a spade here. With or without Odell, this Giants team will be exactly where they're at today. So the fact that he's on a successful team and a coach that looks like he's a player guy, they can express themselves a little bit better, then by all means, go ahead. But when he was here, he forced a hand with the Josina Anderson interview, with the other stuff as far as him and Little, right? As far as him in Paris with the weed and the cocaine. All that, it forces a franchise hand. Just think of it as you and your company, and a guy represents your name on his arm or his helmet, whatever the case is. Everyone's going to make that move as a boss, so you can't be upset that the Giants made that move at that time. But at this point, guys, move on.
Statute of limitations is reached.
It's done. We're a new team and new everything, and good luck to Odell. I wish him nothing but the best, but I'm just done beating the dead horse here with this what if he was here crap.
Last
Leave it
time
alone.
for all you guys, all you Odell Beckham fans, last time we're talking about it.
I like this. I like this point from Easy here, talking about people are harping on Daniel Jones and Saquon and what to do with them. Like, root for the Giants.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, the Giants is what matters here, and players are going to constantly come and go. In 10 years, there's not going to be a single guy on this roster, right? Most likely, that's on the team right now. The Giants will remain. So Odell was a casualty of that. It's a business. These guys move on. They don't pan out, and you just keep moving forward. But
true that.
I just want to win.
I agree. So, guys, we got a Super Bowl coming up, man. Cincinnati versus LA, man, and it's only right to get some sort of predictions here. And Entertainah, man, you want a spotlight. I don't know why I keep picking on you, but why not? You're Entertainah, you're the man. You can take this, all right? Entertainah, let me get your predictions. Super Bowl, man. Who you got? Cincinnati, LA.
Listen, man, I've picked against the Bengals each of the first 2 weeks of the playoffs. I haven't given them the respect that they deserve, and I'm still not going to give them the respect that they deserve.
You're consistent.
I'm going with the Rams again, and they'll probably prove me wrong again. The Bengals just feel like a team of destiny. I don't know how they're doing it. They're doing it, though. Their offensive line to me is bad.
We're going to get to that.
Yeah, their defense has really played well. Bates in particular. Every Bengals game I watch, Bates is making plays. That safety in the secondary for them. But yeah, I mean, they've done a hell of a job. I thought that game was over when it was 21-3 and should have been 28-10 at the half. And Mahomes, I mean, you want to talk about one of the ultimate choke jobs.
Yeah, dude.
We talked about it.
Bad.
Yeah.
But I got to tip my cap, man. I didn't think the Bengals would be here, but I think they're going to run into their match. I got a lot of respect for McVay. You got 2 weeks to prepare. And I got to give them the edge with the head coach. I'm going to give them the edge with the quarterback. Stafford's more experienced. Burrow's still really good, though. And the Rams are at home, right? So in the end, I'm going to take the Rams, and I think they cover the 4. I'm going to have the Rams by about a touchdown.
All right, cool.
Fair.
Hefe, what you got?
I like the Rams winning 31-27. I think Joe Burrow comes out with some second half magic and makes it a competitive game because that's who he is. I think he's an absolute stud. Love watching him play. But I think Aaron Donald is going to be such a problem in this game. Yeah. Going up against that Cincinnati O-line. I think he's going to wreak havoc. Your best players got to make plays when the game is on the line, and that's what the Rams proved with Cooper Kupp showing up, 2 touchdowns, Aaron Donald making the play of the game on the biggest play of the game. Right? Like, he forced Jimmy G into that situation to throw that pick. So give me the Rams. I think the Rams ice it and 31-27. I'm going to make that bet, actually, since I said it, on FanDuel Sportsbook, which is not sponsoring us yet. You can make a bet on the exact score.
Oh.
Speaking of,
what are the odds there?
The odds are crazy.
Yeah, I was going to say.
The odds are amazing. Some guy, this is a true story, over this past weekend, parlayed correcting the correct score of both of those games to a $20 bet. Any guesses? $580,000.
Wow.
$580,000. A $20 bet guessing the exact score for both games parlayed. $580,000.
Dude, that's
wow.
just stupid.
Are you serious?
Yes. So there's like a screenshot of his ticket.
Well, you got to think it's like winning the lottery. Picking 2 exact scores.
That's what I saw?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I'm going to be honest. I don't gamble at all, but, man, it's enticing.
Well, most of the time you're just pissing money away with that kind of bet. But, like, man, if you hit, that's it. That's your ticket.
Point being, you can't do it on DraftKings for some reason, but you can on FanDuel. So if you're feeling a hunch, put a couple bets out there, dude. The return is awesome. Couple bucks on each room, doesn't matter.
$5, man, we'll still get you a decent payout for that.
That's crazy, man.
So really quick, just to wrap up, man, what's your predictions here, guys, for the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I mean, I still think I want to really interested to see Jamar Chase versus Ramsey, man. That's gonna be a fun matchup to watch.
Odell and Eli Apple.
Yeah,
too. Sorry.
Jeez. I don't know how the Bengals are doing it, man. They're piecing it together. I've counted. I thought. I spoke to everybody that will listen. I said, this is where the Bengals run comes to an end against KC. They're not winning in KC. Mahomes was looking great in the first half. I was laughing at my brother-in-law. I was like, look at this. I told you guys it's going to happen. And then they left, thank God, because the second half was I had egg in my face the whole time, man. But I think the Rams are going to end up winning. Close matchup. I think they win by 6. Let's say 26-20. And I think the Rams are still going to – I mean, the Bengals are somehow keeping it close every time. I think you can't count out freaking Burrow over there, man. He's got that it thing, too, like Brady has, man. He's got that it factor. You can't quantify it. Eli, thoughts? Score? What do you got?
21. Before I say that, let me say this. Joe Burrow, man, is so elite. Is so elite. I mean, he has no offensive line. And if you want to compare quarterbacks, guys, look at Joe Burrow. Like, that guy is going to be the next Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. When those guys finally hang it up, we're going to look at Joe Burrow. And, man, he's just electric. The swag, the cachet, the arm strength, the poise, the able to read defense. And he doesn't write anything down. They say he just visualizes these things, and it comes to fruition. This guy is so elite, man. I love watching Joe Burrow. But with that said, they're going to lose the Super Bowl to LA. 21-28. I got LA. I think it's just that team has got too many veterans on there that just knows how to win. Sean McVay is going to finally get that elusive Super Bowl because, again, if I got to see his face panicking on the sideline again, I'm sure the owner went up to him was like, all these picks you got rid of to get these guys, yeah, you better win it this year because otherwise you're done. So with that being said, I think LA, Sean McVay is finally going to win one. And we get to see Joe Burrow, man, at his finest. But that line cannot hold back Aaron Donald and the rest of those guys. Hell to the no. So that's my prediction there. But, guys, I say this. And Tana, I'm going to start with you because, Tana, you're a huge Knicks fan, man. And we got to talk about the Knicks before we out of here. It went from bing bong to What the hell's going on with the Knicks, man?
Right? Yeah, man, I think everything went up in smoke. Now, to be fair, I think they overachieved last year. And a lot of Knicks fans, myself included, probably went into this season with too high of expectations. We convinced ourselves, wow, Tibbs is going to get the most out of these guys. Julius Randle's for real. RJ Barrett's going to progress. They add some nice pieces with Evan Fournier, who I'd send him back to France. He's had a couple of good games here and there. And Kemba Walker, not so much there as well. So, and you got Mitch back. So you're like, oh my God, like this team, we're going to get a 5 seed, 6 seed in the East. You knew the East was going to be better with all the additions they made. But yeah, man, at this point, I mean, we're 5 games under. I'm kind of like, are we better off getting in the lottery and getting a better draft pick? Because this team this year, in my opinion, is not going anywhere fast. We need to continue to build through the draft. And at the end of the day, basketball, unlike football, is a sport where you need that elite superstar to win. It's not an ultimate team game. And until the Knicks get that guy, they're not going to be able to compete. Let's be honest with ourselves. It was a nice, fun story last year where you have this team that's gritty and they find ways to eke games out. But when push came to shove come playoff time, the team with the better player beat us. So until such time we get that top 5 player, top 6 player in the sport, we're not going to be able to compete on a night in, night out basis.
I can see why Thibodeau got Coach of the Year because a lot of people had controversy around that, like he shouldn't have got it. But you see how that team overachieved? Do you see how that team was playing lights out? Mm-hmm. Now they can't get it back. And I'm like, man, he deserved that freaking award. But yes, you're absolutely right, Chris. This team is that guy away. And we thought Julius Randle could be that guy, but he's a good 2. He's like a role guy. I don't think he recovers from adversity well. Because when the chips are down, you start to see him pout. It's all here. You start to see him pout. You start to see him like I just don't know. I don't know if he's the guy still because a lot of people saying trade him. You got to keep a guy like that because he does have the talent. But man, when he's up here, his game is out the window completely. And the Knicks need to build through the draft, like you said. But I think they have to reach and try to get a veteran in here that could run a point and bring that ball up the court for these guys. I think they're missing that true point guard in order to get that team set up properly and get Julius Randle in those situations that can help the team out. But that team, man, I just don't know what happened fast. And I'm really upset that it came up in smoke, man. And I'm really more upset with Julius Randle that he's getting in his own head and he's letting the fans and the critics get all in his head and is interrupting his game. Because, yes, you are a talent, Julius. You are. But, man, you gotta get all that negative stuff out the window. And I got to look at Tibbs and be like, yo, get your guys, coach your guys up a little bit more. I don't know what it is, but I can't quite put my finger on it. But this team is done until next year, in my opinion. In fact, I'm done talking about them because they piss me off so much. But Jeff, what you got? And usually I go last. I'm sorry.
No. You got to get that off your chest, man. You can't hold that.
I had to, man. They hurting me. This hurts me, man.
Eli, you're driving the car here, so if you need to go, just go.
You just go.
You just do your thing, bro.
Thank you, brothers. Thank you.
But I'm also with Chris, and he's like one of the bigger Knicks fans I know. But like Fournier was like so the right idea, right? Like we need that pure shooter, a guy who can bang down the three. And after game one, the bing bong. That's why the whole world went crazy. The whole Knicks nation went crazy is because they looked like a more complete team. And like
we
Kemba
started
Walker,
5-1.
We started off hot, man.
Yeah,
we started off beating those teams that we thought we couldn't beat. You know what I mean? So, I don't know what happened. Go ahead, man. I'm just getting flashbacks and this is messing with me.
Kemba Walker like should work. That should have worked. Like a younger guy who can play the point. Like we got Derrick Rose, but we needed 10 years ago. Derrick Rose, the guy, he's more fragile than, I don't want to say Daniel Jones, but he's very, very fragile. No, but the Knicks are still a couple players away. I'm not. I mean, like the Rangers in the hockey world, I'm going to be heartbroken if and when they lose in the playoffs. The Knicks, I'm not going to be heartbroken if the season, because I just don't expect them to do anything at this point. Like I'm not expecting them to go on some playoff run if they sneak in the 8th seed or something like that. It'll be fun. I'll love it, but I know they're not going anywhere. So that's where I'm at with the Knicks.
Fair.
I mean, listen, you got anything?
I mean, listen, they don't have a KD. They don't have a James Harden. They don't have a Kyrie. They don't have someone that's going to I'm a Nets fan, so let's just get that out there.
Lucky you.
How nice.
It just
Deep
seems
pockets,
like it seems like the Knicks have that, like they have no luck, man. Every time a big guy is right there to be had, they pick another team, or the lottery ball falls another way. They're just cursed right now. And it takes a lot to get over that. They have, they have a hardworking team, but hardworking team is not going to get you through every year. It's not going to be a consistent thing through 82 games, and then into the playoffs. You need that star that's going to rise above, and then you need that guy to hit that last shot. And Julius Randle, for all the good that he showed yesterday, he ain't it, man. Like back even at the Kentucky days, he was a hothead. You could see that he was a hothead. And it comes out every time they're losing. And he's a good third guy, in my opinion. I don't even think he's a second guy.
I think he's a on a championship caliber team, I think he's a 3.
Right. And I just think that you need two guys that are better than him. And Fournier and Kemba, Pete Kemba maybe, but he's not Pete Kemba anymore. And Fournier is not it. He's a role player. I just think that I agree with Entertainah. I think that you might just want to lose some of these games and get a better draft pick, so you can start that youth movement again, man, because they're not young. They're not.
Will say the one.
RJ's good. RJ Barrett's good.
I like Barrett. I think Barrett can continue to get better. I'm excited for Cam Reddish and when he gets an opportunity. Not that I think he's going to be a superstar, but even if he doesn't become that, if these guys evolve into being good players, you could potentially package these guys for an eventual superstar. Like if
bring in Zion.
Yeah. Like if Obi Toppin progresses or Emmanuel Quickly, that's what I'm hoping for as a Knicks fan. Some of these younger players improve and get better. And, when the opportunity arises, hopefully in a year or two, where a team's like, we're ready to trade the superstar. He's not going to be here long term. All right, Cam Reddish looks like he could be an emerging player, or Obi Toppin plus draft picks. And, of course, the Knicks have recruited a ton of those. So that's where my head's at. I know we're not going to be competing for a championship for at least 2 more years. And we need to continue to accrue draft capital, keep bringing in an influx of talent, and then when the opportunity arises, you can make that move and start to bring in some of those stars. Hopefully some of these stars want to come here. The only star that willingly came here was Amari Stoudemire, and he had 2 banged up knees. So, we'll see what happens.
Don't you?
Would you put Carmelo in there too? I mean, Carmelo's he's a superstar. Man, like you're absolutely right, man. We're just missing those particular key guys and missing that superstar because we just need somebody to take over the game and get the rest of these guys in line. Tana, you're absolutely right, man. It's like listening to you. I'm like, but go ahead, brother. Go ahead,
Don't you wish back in when the Rangers wrote that letter to the fans saying, "Hey, we're rebuilding"? Don't you wish every New York fan would have done that? New York franchise would have done that. Just be like, "Hey, we're going to reset the whole city. Every sport team needs to reset." and we're going to start fresh. And we would have put up with the losing because we knew that there's a brighter future. But it seems like all these New York teams, they don't want to say that they're rebuilding, and it always ends up blowing up in their faces. Just
the Knicks
rip the
in particular
Band-Aid.
have always been like that.
Yeah, they just keep trying to piece it together with old guys and free agents, and they don't build it right. Build it right from the draft. As you've seen, every dynasty that it works, they're from the draft picks, and then you supplement the free agents. But in New York, there's this thing that you can't rebuild. The Rangers said, "Hey, listen, we're rebuilding." Ranger fans are like, "All right, let's sit through these next 2-3 years." And now they're building a contender where they could add a trade or a free agent, and then you have yourself a legitimate cup contender for a couple of years, man. So I wish they would all just have thought that way. And last point, Mara kind of said something today, like, don't expect us to win next year. And that's kind of like his way of saying, like, be patient. Let's see this through. And when you have a GM and a head coach on the same timeline, that helps, man. It builds patience, and I hope the Giants fan base is not going to get too erratic with what happens next year. And
I know we're switching gears a little bit and bouncing around from our teams, but Spiro had a good take about John Mara, about how if you were to go back a month and be like, what should John Mara do? He's pretty much done everything that we collectively thought he should do.
You can't really complain.
Chris, am I right? Is he not doing exactly what he should be doing?
And listen, I understand the fan base is, the medium so to put the fan base over the top. But listen, man, I've been a guy that's been very, negative towards John Mara since I've been on YouTube. You can't complain. He's literally given the fans everything they wanted, everything we've been asking for 5 years. He did. We said hands off, bringing somebody completely from the outside of the organization. He did it. Then people started to say, "Oh, is he going to get in the coaching search way? Is he going to bring in Brian Flores?" He didn't do that. He let Shane bring in his guys. So at this point, let's see what these guys got.
Give him some kudos.
Yeah, but as a fan base, like you said, we got to give them an opportunity to succeed or fail. You can't, after 1 year, be like, "Oh, time to start over." Even 2 years, time to start over.
This
and
is
that's why I like
minimum
the
3 year.
Jones. I like the idea of keeping Jones because of that. Because I think that guarantees they're going to get 3 years. Because even if Jones fails, then you got to give that rookie quarterback 2 years.
Yep,
I totally agree. And again, and I say this to all Giants fans, I'm vibes for a reason, right? We got to be optimistic, man. We got to give these guys time to build this roster because Dave Gettleman crapped the bed. So we're in cap hell. We're etc. So guys, we got to give it time. We got everything we wanted. Now it's just sitting back and be patient. Yes, there's always something to complain about. But I'm sleeping like a baby still, no matter what the record is at the end of the year next season. Because I know we're in good hands with Joe Shane and Brian Daboll, hands down. And I'm going to end it with this, guys, because this is cool. I know everybody's giving Mara hell, but at the end of one of the press conference, he said, "I'm going to give away some Pepsi in the front to the reporters, and it's going to be a large." Guys, I don't know about you. He won me over. But Taina, did he win you over? Because that's a damn good owner to crack at himself at that particular moment to be like, "Yeah, now I'm giving away a large Pepsi." Ha! Take that, people who were upset.
He's
did he win you over?
Yeah, I
think trying.
The way I looked at that was he was relatable. He came across as relatable. It gave me a good chuckle, and he said, "Listen, guys, I know that you guys were coming at me. I'm not blind to it." And he made fun of himself, which is good. I think people enjoy when people can admit that they were wrong, and they can laugh at themselves. And that's basically what he was doing there. I'm like you. When I saw that tweet, when I saw the comment that he said, I was like, "That's pretty funny." I gotta give credit for that.
Absolutely. Guys, anything else to wrap up?
I just want to say he's doing everything right. He's trying. I think he's listening. Somebody's in his ear telling him where the fan base is at. He seems to be acting accordingly. And the fact that he let Joe Shane introduce Daboll today, I thought was a huge sign and a huge I'm letting the GM be the GM. And it was a little thing, but I thought it was a great thing that he stepped back and let him do that. So I think he's finally getting it, and I think we're in good hands. And I'm willing to be patient this time. It's a 3 to 5 years. This group of people, I think they're going to get to build something, and I think they're going to do it.
Yeah, I mean that showed me a little self-awareness 101 right there. That he knew that the Pepsi thing was a joke. He knew he was bad, but he's like, all right, let's make some light of it, And I think everybody's doing it. I felt like Daboll was having a good time. I feel like Mara's having a good time. There's better vibes going on right now. Eli, you feel those vibes, right?
I feel it.
I feel those
the
vibes. But I always said, I said at the beginning of the offseason, I said everybody's hating on Mara, but he has a chance to redeem himself here. And he seems to be following through on everything that he said he was going to do. He's letting Joe Schoen pick his guy. Joe Schoen's now picked the OL coach. He's probably going to pick the offensive coordinator. He's building the whole thing is building itself without Mara. And I'm sure he's got the final say, but he seems to be stepping back and letting Joe Schoen run the show. But fire a couple guys, maybe to give us fans a little, something. Maybe Chris Pettit, throw him out, because Abrams is staying. We don't love that, but give us a bone, throw us another bone, fire somebody else in the front office, and then we're gonna be hands off.
Just make somebody up and fire.
Yeah,
exactly.
You're not
fitting
out
of the hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I don't care if it's a real person. Just fire somebody.
Chris Mara? Yeah, bring him in the office.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
But guys, this is the New York Revival. We thank you so much for spending your Monday nights with us, guys. And as always, man, thank you. And if you want to be the guy that's sponsoring the show for the week, just email us at thenyrevival@gmail.com. Again, thenyrevival@gmail.com. Or just DM any one of us. We always respond to you guys anyway. I take it all. But guys, thank you so much on behalf of Mr. El Jefe. See, I almost got it messed up again. Mr. Glass Half Full and our special guest, Chris, the Entertainah, the godfather of YouTube. Round of applause. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for hanging out with us. And once again, we're here to revive New York sports. You guys take care.